I'm going to show you how to do the magic loop. Okay, seems a little complicated, but once you get going, it's actually quite simple. Okay, so what I want you to do is first I want you to cast on 40 stitches, and this is just to practice. The magic loop will allow you to knit in the round using a circular needle. Okay, these you can buy on Amazon. These are bamboo needles with a tubing, and mine is the longest that I could get. I'm not sure exactly how long it is, but it's pretty long, and you can use this to make something small like this in the round by using the magic loop method. You can also use something like this to make something larger like a sweater or a blanket, and I find these to be very easy to use and very versatile. So if you have any questions about that, you can let me know. But for this video, go ahead and cast on 40 stitches, and then I'll show you how you can knit in the round using the magic loop method. So for the magic loop method, you're going to cast on your stitches, however many you want. For this video, we have 40 stitches, and then you're going to bring them down to the loop part, and you're going to find the middle. It doesn't have to be the exact middle, just find the middle of your stitches. I use this method to make hats or socks, anything that you want to make something in the round. Okay, then you're going to bring your stitches to the needles. Okay, so I'm going to pull this tubing. You can use other types of circular needles as well. Some of them have like a wire in the middle, some of them have a tubing, and so you're going to bring all of the stitches to the needles. So here we have the two needles full of the stitches, and we have one of the pieces of yarn will go to your ball and one goes to the end. Okay, so we have the end piece in the front, we have the ball piece in the back. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is pull the back needle, and you're going to pull it so that all the stitches go to the tubing. Okay, so now this is what my work looks like here. I have the tubing, I have this one is on the tubing here, and then I have my front needle is still on the tip of my needle. It looks a little weird, but what we're going to do next is we are going to pull our needle from the back that is now a little bit free, and we're going to start knitting. And then we're going to take the yarn connected to the ball, we're going to pull that forward. Okay, I'm going to pull it from inside the tubing. I'm going to pull it forward, and now I'm going to knit as normal. So knit as normal, and you just knit now to the end of the row. Okay, so this is what you're working with. Okay, you have a loop on each side, and you are knitting. You're knitting just like you would as if you had two needles, but you have a little tubing on each side. So we're just going to knit that one half of our needle, of our stitches, and we're going to knit to the end of that row. And it looks a little different if you're not used to it, that you've got this tubing on either side, but it's the knitting aspect of it is just knitting. Okay, so you're just going to knit to the end of the row. So you can use any size needles for this type of process. It doesn't matter. If you're going to make socks, you're going to have very small needles, like size 0 needles to 1 or 2. And if you're going to make a hat, you know, it just depends on what type of hat that you want to make. Okay, so now we have completed 1/2 of the stitches. So you want to go ahead and make sure that your stitches are not twisted. Okay, and now we are going to switch our knitting around. We are going to turn it this way so that our unknitted row is now toward the front. The knitted row is now toward the back. Okay, and you're going to straighten out your stitches. And now I'm going to pull my tubing. The front tubing is going to go to the top of the needle. So I'm going to pull it so that my needle comes forward, and I'm going to get all those stitches onto the front needle. And then I'm going to pull the back needle so that all of those stitches go to the tubing. So notice how I'm holding on to the stitches. The stitches aren't really moving, I'm just moving the tubing. Okay, now I can adjust my knitting and I can continue to knit. Now my yarn kind of got stuck in the middle there, so you have two choices. You can just go ahead and knit, or you can move the ball. I'm going to move my ball through that hole, and I'm going to just push it through like that and get it untwisted. So with this method, there are times that you have to kind of readjust and get things situated. Okay, so now I have the front needle is not knitted yet. The back needle is knitted. I have the front needle is ready to go with my stitches at the front of right in front of me, and my back needle looks like this, and my working yarn is ready to go. Do like this. And now I'm going to knit again to the end of the row. The very first row of the magic loop, I think, is the hardest. Okay, getting it set up and getting it going is the hardest. Once you get it going, the only thing you're going to have to do is just move your stitches from side to side. Well, you're actually not moving the stitches, you're moving the needles. You're pulling and pushing back to forward. I think it's simple. I mean, your first couple times it might be difficult, but I think it's actually pretty simple because once you move the tubing, you're just knitting. You can also do this knitting in the round with double pointed needles, and that method is not too hard, I don't think, but the problem with that method is that you have your needle sticking out everywhere, and also if you put it down, you have the risk of things falling apart. So you have to be careful if you're doing that. Okay, so now I'm at the end of the row. I'm going to turn my work. Okay, so now my longer needle is toward the front. Okay, and my working needle is toward the back. What I need to do is I need to pull my top one to the back so that I'm ready to knit the front needle. Okay, so that whole needle has to get loaded up with the stitches like this, and then the back needle I'm going to pull like this, and now I'm going to knit with the back needle. Okay, I'm going to pull this up, and now I'm going to knit like regular. Now this is how I would make my Christmas stockings. I make Christmas stockings like this, and I have switch colors. I can put names on the stockings, and it's a lot of fun. But it is not a mindless activity. You do have to be careful of what you're doing. Okay, so you'll notice that I can knit a lot faster on the next row. The very first row is always the hardest row. Okay, so now I'm almost at the end, and I am ready to switch. Okay, so I'm going to switch. I'm going to put the front to the back. I'm going to just turn it like this. Okay, I'm going to get my working yarn ready. Now I am going to pull the front needle to the back. So the front needle is going to be ready to go. The back needle gets pulled so that the stitches are on the tubing. Here I am ready to go. Time to knit. And there you go. You will be knitting in the round. So this will be something circular. This is used for socks, mittens, hats. So when you're done by using this method, you don't have to sew anything together. You can just have something that is in the round. And like I said, you also could do the double pointed needles, or you can use what we call the magic loop. So here you go. So we're going to turn it like this, and we're going to pull the front one, pull the needle to the back, and then you're going to pull the back needle so that the stitches are on the tubing, and now you're ready to knit. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out my knitting playlist, and I'll see you next time.